Hey, hello, people. I have no followers, so I'm just gonna act like I'm talking to myself because, life is hard right now. Anyway, I just wanted to come on here and fight these fruit flies I have in my room because they eat way too much pineapple. But I wanted to talk about the scariness of the lack of mental health evaluations that we have in this country for lawmakers. I mean, I really think we need to start um, having requirements because there are some people who are raising a lot of money and who are running for president, and they're not okay. They're really just simply not, they're not okay. We have, who do we have? We have Ron DeSantis. Okay, can we talk about Ron? Let's talk about Ron. Ron DeSantis is a man who's, I'm just changing my light bulbs here. I'll make sure that we have the right coloring to go with this situation that we're talking about here. Um, no, seriously, take this seriously, people. Okay, so okay, we have a lot of people that think they're qualified to run for the president, and I mean, I'm sure it's fine. You just have to be what 35, an American citizen. I think that's it, right? You just can't have. I think you can have committed murder. To be honest, I think you can have committed murder. But can you be a completely crazy person with it seems like violent tendencies who spent years of their life witnessing tortures professionally? Can that person be okay to run the government? I mean, Ron DeSantis has done some things that are so psycho that I have to question if he's even all right at all. I mean, he cut off women's permanent alimony. Now, women are a huge amount of voters, completely gone. Then he insulted a little kid for having an icy and eating too much sugar. Then he said it was all right for people to have been enslaved because they learned something. Like, mind you, maybe their children learned something and took it with them maybe 200 years later. I mean, like, who thinks these things? Yeah, I don't understand. I'll never understand how we don't have any evaluations for mental health. So yesterday, as if it wasn't bad enough, old white rubber boots, crazy ass meatball Ron DeSantis came out and said he was going to be slitting some throats. He said if he became the president, he was going to slit throats in government. Okay, I've heard of clean house. I've heard of obviously drain the swamp, eject losers. I've heard that. I mean, there's all kinds of ways of saying that, but slitting throats, that involves a knife, like a machete, like very similar to what they used at where? Guantanamo, when they would cut someone's entire head off. Yeah, I think that Ron has some PTSD problems, and I think that he's experiencing a lot of really bad flashbacks and things. And I think that the more that his campaign implodes, I think the more nasty, crazy things he's going to think of. But you don't go out in public and say those things. Where's his wife? Why doesn't he have a wife that cares enough about him to not let him say things like that? That I personally am terrified that anybody that wants to work in a job at all would say things like, I'm going to go and slit throats. Okay, fire them. I mean, just fire them. You don't have to murder them. You don't have to slit their throat. You don't have to cut their head off or waterboard them, electrocute them. I mean, what else is next? What's coming up in your government, Ron? I mean, you don't want gays at Disney. You pretty much, decapitated the farming industry, the entertainment industry. You got rid of all the immigrants. I mean, what are you doing? What are you doing? This is America. We don't deal with things like that. We don't do things like that. We don't have people we don't have their throats cut because they don't agree with you. That's not how we do things in this country. And you are never going to be the president. Mark my words. Ron DeSantis, never. Because you're terrifying. All anybody has to see is that video of you saying, "Oh, we're just going to be slitting some throats and taking names." No, 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 no. I mean, if I was filling in an application for the government and I heard that, I'd be like, I'd rip that shit up in 5 seconds. Casey, come on. What are you doing? Aren't you supposed to be his wife? Aren't you supposed to care about him? I mean, if you want a divorce, get a divorce. But just don't let him like completely implode like that. Ooh. I mean, it's scary how much money he has in the bank and how much dumb shit he has said and done. I mean, there's so many industries that he's like destroyed. Tourism, farming, little old ladies on alimony, people on welfare. He's like a disaster area. And then there's malaria breaking out in Florida, um, leprosy, leprosy. He doesn't even care that these diseases have popped back up because, first he was all for the vaccination when Trump was for it. And then he started being against it. And now people in his state are not taking vaccines. And guess what? Malaria and leprosy are back. And what is he doing? Flying around in his little plane in his white rubber boots, telling people he's going to slit their throats. I mean, you can't even make this shit up. I wish we could, but we can't. All right, well, that's about it. I love you guys. Please register to vote. Please vote Democratic. The Republicans are not the same Republican Party of the last like 20 years. It's not the same. They're not reasonable. They're not normal. They're magnified and they're crazy. And if you want people's throats to get slit in government, I mean, that's like worse than January 6th. That's worse than anything we've heard. I've never ever heard of a government official saying he was going to violently slit other people's throats that don't agree with him. When people say things, you should believe him because he's not right. He actually, as a job, he professionally witnessed and consulted on tortures in Guantanamo Bay. He was the lawyer that would say, "Oh, don't squeeze their neck that tight. Oh, okay, you can do a little tight. Uh-oh. Oh, how many gallons of water did you use? You were 6. Oh, you can use 8. It's okay for the waterboarding. Oh, you can electrocute him for like 5 more minutes." I mean, that would have an effect on anybody's mind. He's not ready. He's not okay, and he needs to go to the VA and get some help right away. And anybody that is making fun of me, you don't have to make fun of me for trying to evaluate him. I've seen crazy people before, and I know some, and I know lots of them. And people need to realize that this man is not all right, and he's being trotted out there like he can handle it. He can't even handle it. He can't even handle just basic retail politics. Like there was a man that was a vet, a World War II vet that loved him, wanted to meet him. And they kept saying, "Oh, he wants your autograph," and he would not go over there just because he hates people. Why would you try to be the president of a country if you hate people? Like just be a mortician. Anyway, I'm just saying, please watch out. Please pay attention to what people say and register to vote. It is very crucial that you register to vote and vote Democratic. You really don't have any other choice. Joe Biden is a fine human being. He's healthy. He's normal. Show me, you think Donald Trump is better? Show me Donald Trump riding a bike. Even if he can ride it the whole time and fall down, Donald Trump can't probably even ride it for 1 minute without falling down. He doesn't say nasty things. He doesn't hurt people. And whatever money whatever money that you're claiming that he and his son got is like, it's like a minuscule amount to the amount of money that the grift of the Trumps took in. Like, can we just be honest here? Is everybody like, high? Like, is Trump like the cocaine, of now? Because it must be really good because you lie to yourselves. You know that your economy was not that good back then. The economy was the same as Jimmy Carter during the Trump administration. Yeah, it wasn't better. And he let a lot of people die because he lied about his own vaccination. So let's not go there. Let's try to be normal and think normally and take care of yourselves.